Ini started noticing strange maggots falling from her private parts and body. Oge would be having bad diarrhea every single hour and couldn't do anything. She had to be wearing diapers as she was always pooping every minute. This caused her to lose a massive amount of weight and she looked like a walking skeleton. Cynthia was having a bad, uncontrollable odor. No matter how many times she showered in a day, she would reek of a foul smell. Her skin was rotting uncontrollably. In the bustling city of Abuja, there lived 4 girls named Cynthia, Oge, Flora, Ini. They had been best friends since graduating from the university. Even after getting their degrees, finding a good job in the country was impossible. They were unemployed and lived in an extremely small apartment that could barely contain them. The only means of survival was the street jobs and the skills they managed to acquire, but it still wasn't enough. One night, Oge was lost deeply in her thoughts, glued to the shabby couch and hands on her chin when Flora walked in. Oge, is everything alright? Flora asked. No, I'm tired of this life of poverty I'm living. Up till now, my parents are still struggling to send me money. I can barely afford pads and soaps. I'm not even eating well. I mean, look how thin I am. Other of our mates, they're living the life, and I'm here thinking, I'm not alright, Flora. Oge sobbed. Flora sighed and comforted her friend. I believe one day all this will be over. One cold evening, Ini walked into the tattered apartment with a smile glued on her face. Her scent engulfed the atmosphere. She held multiple bags and boxes on her hands, all which seemed expensive. When the others saw her, they screamed, "Where did you get those, Ini?" they asked. Ini didn't answer. Instead, she popped a bottle of champagne she was holding and said, "It's our time to shine. Poverty has finally fled and will no longer know our name." She showed the others the harlot of 500,000 she supposedly got from a business deal, and everyone gasped. Later that day, Cynthia asked Ini how she got the money. Ini hesitated before finally opening up. "It's not an easy task, but what we won't do. The suffering is too much," she began. She started explaining how she was introduced to this club. All you have to do was keep elderly men company for money. It didn't sound bad as she explained it, which piqued the other girls' interest. They started begging to be introduced right away the next day. "You know I love you guys, and I can't see something good and not tell my friends," In spoke. "You're not a good friend. Why would you even think of getting yourself and us involved in that nonsense? We might be desperate, but not that desperate." Flora protested. "Abeg, speak for yourself, me. I'm desperate. You like suffering too much." This whole banter went for a long while and caused a bridge between Flora and the other girls. Flora believed in hard work and knew there wasn't any shortcut to success. She tried to warn the others, but they didn't listen. Soon enough, the wealth and luxury started flowing in. Ini, Cynthia, and Oge were storing millions in their accounts. They were now wearing the latest Gucci and Prada. They started scenting of expensive perfumes. They had even moved out of the shabby apartment and were now in a deluxe duplex, leaving only Flora in the old house. All they had to do was keep the elderly men entertained and happy, and the halal would start gushing in. Everything seemed normal at first, but then something twisted and terrifying started happening. Soon, the old men started asking for strange things. The girls were forced to eat their feces and drink their urine for money. The more bizarre things done, the larger the bank alert. It started getting stranger. Even though their account balance were huge and wowable, the money couldn't stay inside. They'll spend it unnecessarily and needed to go back for renewal. They couldn't stop no matter how hard they tried. They would lick the elderly's armpits, self-harm themselves just for their pleasure. It was getting stranger and they were looking possessed. Abnormal things started happening. Ini started noticing strange maggots falling from her private parts and body. She screamed and started spending huge sums going to different hospitals, but found no solutions. Oge would be having bad diarrhea every single hour and couldn't do anything. She had to be wearing diapers as she was always pooping every minute. This caused her to lose a massive amount of weight and she looked like a walking skeleton. Cynthia was having a bad, uncontrollable odor. No matter how many times she showered in a day, she would reek of a foul smell. Her skin was rotting uncontrollably. The 3 girls couldn't even help themselves as they were going through torture. They spent most of the money on field treatment, and they couldn't even go back to the club for money as they were sick. Flora, on the other hand, was living her normal life without any knowledge of what was going on. She was still using her tailoring skills to earn little change. Once she had saved enough, she would open a fashion boutique. Her phone rang, and when she answered, a child ran through her spine as she heard who spoke. Her heart pounded as she heard what her friends were passing through. She cried and lamented on how she warned them. Unfortunately, Oge didn't make it. She died after 2 months of suffering. Grief and sorrows was thick in the clouds. Family and friends wailed uncontrollably, But here's the thing. Flora started to rise. She was receiving customers and mega deals that could break accounts. All this coincidentally happened when others were collapsing. On Ini's last day, Flora visited and made a shocking revelation. I was the one that introduced Ini to that club. She spoke with a wicked grin. Her friend's wealth powered her future. The decay fed her rise. All this while she had calculated everything. The rot had to go somewhere, and she had refused to carry it.